Hello everyone, this is the Patriot Torch, this is Marco Amaya, and want to share with you some thoughts about the election coming up in a few days, and some thoughts about what's going on. You know, I think Trump's going to win. I have a good feeling that he's going to win. Now, I'm not 100% sure, okay? Because there's so much voting fraud coming from the Democrats. Because you know they're into voting fraud. You know, when they say, oh, voting fraud doesn't exist, well, that automatically tells you they're into voting fraud. Because if you knew, right, if you see all the evidence out there, which is like a mountain pile of evidence that there's voting fraud, footage and everything, you know, everywhere, right? Throwing away ballots, people admitting they vote multiple times, there's all kinds of evidence. And for the Biden to say that, and all these Democrats to say there's no evidence of voting fraud is like saying that there isn't a sun and there isn't grass and there isn't earth. Earth doesn't exist. It just goes to show you you're hiding something, right? That's obvious. And then, you know, states like North Carolina and Pennsylvania are extending the election day because they have to get all the mail-in votes and stuff. It's like, no, that's not the way it should be done. It's election day or nothing at all, right? It's election day is when you find out what the election is. That's why it's called election day. You know, election day isn't supposed to mean wait for all the mail-in ballots to come until we can say a Democrat won. See, that's ridiculous. Okay, that's insane. But that's what they're trying to do. Hopefully the landslide is so big that they can't do anything about it. No matter how many days they try to wait for the votes to come in, it's not going to work. You're not going to get enough electoral college votes to win for the Democrats, right? I hope the landslide for Trump is so big that it doesn't matter if you can't get results from a couple states, because there'd be no way to make up the fact that Trump had a landslide. Because there's so many people. You know, I went to the Gastonia rally in North Carolina. It was like last week, I think. And it was filled with people, thousands and thousands of people. You know, and when I filmed it and I panned around, there was just so many people you couldn't see the end of the crowd from where I was standing because I was sort of in the middle of it. And you know, this type of crowd, you know, it's bigger than 2016. It's bigger than 2018. And that's why 60 Minutes is a fraudulent news organization and that Leslie lady that interviewed Trump, she is a liar. She is a bullshitter. She was trying to say, oh, but Trump, your crowds were smaller than 2016. Your crowds are now smaller. That is such garbage. That is such a lie. That's such a blatant lie. And on top of that, it's hilarious that she even says that, because he has bigger crowds and Biden has these tiny little crowds in someone's backyard with little circles where you have to put your chair down and and then the other person has to go into another circle because you have to make sure there's social distancing. Yeah, the reason why you can do social distancing at a Biden rally is because there's not enough people there. That's the whole reason why there's not enough, because if you have tens of thousands of people, you can't socially distance that. You can't do that because there's too many people. If there was social distancing for a Trump rally, you would have to have friggin' binoculars to be able to see Trump, okay? So there you go, right? Now, I think it's funny because the Biden rally, a lot of times they're in their cars because they're so afraid of COVID. They can't even get it. It's like 5 people in their cars while Biden's sitting in front of like a pumpkin stand that says Biden on the back because he doesn't have enough people to have people behind him. So he has a little haystack with a pumpkin right there, and he says crazy stuff now. Every day it seems like every time he talks, it's like a meme factory to make fun of him because he just says stuff that he's losing his mind. He's a senile guy, you know. He says, "Oh, I'm sick and tired of smart guys," and it's like, why? He just said he's sick and tired of smart guys, and then he had a Freudian slip moment in an interview. He was like, we have put together the biggest, most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of politics. Joe Biden's actually said that. He actually said that. You can find it for yourself. It's incredible. I was like, you're actually being honest for once, Joe. You're right. You have put together, you and your, deep state friends have put together the biggest voting fraud organization in history. That's why you're saying voter fraud doesn't exist in the debates, right? Because you don't want people to know about it. Because as soon as you accept that it's real or acknowledge that it's real, then you have to do something about it. And if you do something about the voting fraud, then you won't win because you're depending on the voting fraud to win. That's the whole point, right? Because the Trump crowd is so big. The Trump crowd is so big. And then Cardi B, it was a big news that Cardi B was freaking out. Because she was in California. She lives in California, I think LA or something. And she's literally scared that there's Trump supporters everywhere and that they're in these big trucks. And they think that, these Trump supporters are going to beat me up. The Trump supporters don't beat you up. It's the Antifa, the leftists, and the freaking Black Lives Matter are the ones that are beating people up. They're the ones shooting people. They're the ones killing patriots at the patriot prayer movements and stuff. They're the ones killing people, literally killing cops. And then you're over here scared that a Trump supporter is going to beat you up? Are you kidding me? I mean, it's just backwards, inverted world. The clown world is always saying the opposite of what reality is. And for all the people that are on the fence, okay, for all the people on the fence that are like, should I vote for Trump? Should I vote for Biden? Let me tell you something. Let me ask you a question. Why would you vote for a senile man like Joe Biden that spews out blatantly wrong statistics like, by the end of this speech, 200 million Americans will die from COVID? He said that, okay? So why would you vote for someone like that has lost his mind, okay? And he's a corrupt politician that doesn't even, takes money from other countries. He's sold out. He's going to do what people tell him to do that pay him. He's not like Trump that makes his own decisions. Joe Biden is paid, clearly proven that he's paid because of those emails that Twitter wants to censor so bad, right? The Twitter wants to block the New York Post from talking about the Hunter's laptop because it exposes all this stuff that I'm talking about. Because Twitter wants to help elect a Democrat president, right? But if this laptop was not important and was just a bunch of disinformation, right? Disinformation, which they can't prove at all. They just say it's not true, which with no evidence or anything, or they say it's Russia. They don't even say it's not true. They just say Russia put it there. Obviously, that means they're hiding it because they're scared of it, the fact that it's true, right? Russia didn't put Hunter's laptop in a laptop repair store. It's Hunter Biden's laptop. How did Russia make Hunter Biden's laptop that has Hunter's stuff on it? It's Hunter's laptop. It's not Russia's laptop. It's Hunter Biden leaving it at a laptop store to get it repaired, and then he's probably, I guess, so smoking crack out of his mind, so methed out of his mind that he forgot that he left his laptop at the store, and the store tried to get it back to him. He never picked it up, so then the store takes ownership of the laptop, and then gives it to the authorities, gives it to police, FBI, and then eventually Rudy Giuliani gets a hold of it, and then exposes it, right? And Twitter and Facebook and Google, they're all involved with covering this up or trying to cover it up and blocking it and censoring it, okay? Now, that is honestly one of the reasons why I think Trump's going to win, because this information, like the pedophilia on the laptop and Hunter Biden smoking crack and making deals with foreign nations and giving the money to his dad, Joe Biden, that's destroying Joe Biden because it's only about a few days before the election. So it's a big deal. It's a very big deal, And so because of that, I think that Trump has a good chance of gaining a lot of votes because and the second debate was great. Trump killed it. He exposed the fact that Joe Biden's a liar, exposed the fact that Joe Biden lied about fracking and wants to get rid of fracking, but now says he doesn't. He just flip-flops. Joe Biden flip-flops as many times as necessary, right, to try to get elected. He doesn't care about having integrity or anything like that. And plus, Joe Biden has a hard time finishing sentences, period. He's just like, and then calls Trump Abraham Lincoln in the last debate. I mean, how much more do you need, folks? I mean, if you can't decide between that, I mean, it's so easy. Trump is smart, coherent, respects my constitutional rights, doesn't want to take my guns away, right? Is wanting to do something about protecting our free speech from the internet, big media, or big tech censorship, and now wants to repeal Section 230 so that the social media companies don't have the ability to not be sued for what's on their website because they can censor everybody, right? But then they don't get in trouble for what they do allow on the website, which is wrong, because if you're a platform and you're immune to lawsuit based on what people say on the website, you can't be censoring people and turning it into a news article or a news publication that decides what everyone says, because that's what a news organization does. So they have a certain agenda, they have a certain view, and they post things based on their views. But Twitter is acting like they're a public tool, but all they allow is whatever they want you to say, so it's basically a freaking news publication, right? Of a specific view. In this case, Democrat leftist views, all the way across the board, from Facebook to Twitter to YouTube to every single one of them. It's a monopoly of communication that's endangering our free speech. So I want to thank Ted Cruz for grilling and destroying Jack Dorsey and telling him, really shaking it up and telling them, look, who the hell elected you to decide what everyone gets to see and say in this country? Because there's so many. It's a monopoly of control over information and free speech, and that's why something has to be done about it. And even Democrats will agree with me on that. There's Democrats that have waken up and realized that, hey, we have to protect people's free speech. Otherwise, it's going to be a monopoly, and no one can say anything unless Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey says so. So that's a big deal. And Lil Pump came out, endorses Trump. That's hilarious. Which I thought he was crazy and stupid, but I mean, you got to have at least some brains at this point, right? I mean, if you were gonna vote for Trump, I mean, I'm glad that he did that, because I'm not, when I say that, I'm not saying I support Lil Pump. I'm just saying that it's good that Lil Pump, okay, is endorsing Trump, because people like that are influencing millions and millions of people. Okay, that are the mainstream followers that always follow the stupid shit. They're now looking and seeing Lil Pump is not going along with the political correctness, and Lil Pump is endorsing Trump. Okay, so it makes them wake up a little bit and be like, oh, so you're not going along with the whole Democrat talking points like most of the people in Hollywood. So that, it gives these zombie followers the ability to realize that you can think outside the box and you don't have to go along with the whole fake scripted political correctness all the time, and you shouldn't, because otherwise you get brainwashed into thinking that Trump is a racist and Trump is doing this and Biden's so good. Biden is like friends with KKK people and went to their funeral like Robert Byrd and stuff, like Hillary Clinton does, same shit. And Joe Biden doesn't do anything for black people. He actually does bad things, like the 1994 crime bill that helps incarcerate black people for drugs, puts them in jail, and it's just like, how do you not see that Trump is increasing funding for black colleges and criminal reform and And it's just like, and he meets with black people, wants to know what they have to say, and does this stuff, and there's a platinum plan to help black communities. I mean, he just keeps doing stuff for black people, you know? And he doesn't do racist stuff, and he doesn't say racist stuff. And once again, I'll debunk the whole, oh, what about Charlottesville? Oh, Charlottesville, it's the most racist thing. You know, Charlottesville was people on the right, conservatives, and people on the left, okay, peaceful people, right? And then there was also these neo-Nazi types, right? That is considered right-wing, apparently, which doesn't even make sense because Nazis were socialists. And then there was the Antifa leftists that were crazy and violent also. So there's 4 groups. There's 4, okay? 4 groups, left and right, and then neo-Nazis and Antifa. And so Trump is saying there's good people on both sides because he's talking about the good conservatives that are peaceful and the good leftists, the good Democrats that are peaceful, okay? But the thing is, the majority of the problem was the Antifa leftists. Was the main problem. But he was trying to be clear. Hey, look, don't forget about these conservatives that weren't neo-Nazis. He was talking about those people because he denounces the KKK and he denounces the neo-Nazis. He's not saying neo-Nazis are good people. Like goodness gracious, that's been debunked like a million times. And of course, here's Joe Biden, right, that can hardly answer questions and stuff, but he wants to also end the oil industry, right, which is responsible for millions of jobs, right? They have so many jobs, so many people. That's why when he said that, he lost a lot of votes because there's going to be a lot of people that depend on the oil industry for their own jobs to feed their families. And here's Biden saying, yes, we're going to end the oil industry. We're going to transition out of it, which is the same thing. You're ending it, okay? And then there's so many clips of him, and Joe Biden's like, "Oh, put up the clip then. If I actually said that, then put the clip up." Yeah, we did put the clip up. It's everywhere. Joe Biden saying he wants to end fossil fuels. He wants to end fracking. He wants to do all this stuff. It's like, how do you support someone that openly lies and is proven to lie over and over again? And on top of that, it was Obama, right, that had the cages and stuff. And then this whole child separation thing where they say, Trump is separating children from their parents. He's so horrible. Because they don't understand that at the border, these children are coming in with child traffickers and gangs that pretend to be the parents, that aren't the parents. A lot of these kids are coming in. I forgot what the statistic is. It's like 80% or something. It was like a huge percentage of kids are coming in without their actual parents because there's people that are trying to come in, right? And they're using children to get in because it's easier to get in with a child, right? But it's not their actual child. So the law enforcement figures that out. Okay, then has to separate the children and put them in a facility that's not a cage, by the way. It's not little cages. It's a nice facility with beds and games and literally like PlayStations and stuff. I made a video a while ago about this that showed that. And playing soccer and they're having fun. And they have to stay there until the police can figure out how to help these kids and where to send them, and because they're just there, And then a lot of these kids also, and especially women, are getting raped on the way here because the Democrats keep saying you can come on in, right? Which then makes the immigrants want to come, but then when they pass through the dangerous areas in Mexico to get here, they're getting raped. They're getting forced to do stuff that is horrible just so they can get across because the Mexican cartel and stuff is there. And it's horrible. It's horrible. And then they're saying Trump is separating children from their parents. No, Trump has to stop illegal criminals from getting in. You understand that? It's not legal for people to cross the border illegally without any papers or any kind of verification or vetting. Okay? That's how you stop criminals from getting in. That's how you stop rapists from getting in. You have to vet them. You have to stop them. You have to arrest them. They're doing something illegal, right? That's the whole point of law and order. It's crazy. And then the leftists got caught in an extremely stupid situation when they said that, Trump said coyotes are bringing, smuggling people into this country, and they actually thought, some leftists actually thought that that he was talking about wild dogs. No, it's people that are smuggling people into this country, and it's just like, they just assume. See, they've been lied to by the mainstream media that Trump's so stupid, so they start believing this. But the leftists are also stupid because how are they not realizing the term coyote? I mean, if you really cared about people at the border, you really cared about immigration, you would know that term by now, or at least have the care to look it up if you don't get it, if you don't understand it, just look it up, right? And it's just, it's crazy. So yeah, go ahead and vote for Trump and Dan Forest, because look, Roy Cooper is shutting this economy down. Roy Cooper is like freaking mafia, telling barbershops and stuff, if you during the lockdown that just happened recently, a couple months ago, he was saying that he's going to fine them thousands of dollars if they open up their business. Fine them thousands of dollars per customer if you open up and do that. Because they want to control your life. If someone has to pay their bills, otherwise they go hungry and starving, well, they need to freaking work, right? It's not that hard to understand. And no, there is no such thing as a good enough reason to give up your rights and give up your business. No, there is no such thing. There's no such thing in the Constitution that says you can give up all your rights or you have to give up your rights if there's a virus. And on top of that, this virus hasn't proven to exist. On top of that, this virus, even if it does exist, is well accepted that it kills a very small amount of people, just like every other disease. Actually, most diseases, there's a lot of diseases that kill more people than the COVID virus. So it's retarded to then end the economy, end the USA, end your businesses that you've had for centuries in some cases, or 100 years, right? Because of a stupid virus that hardly is killing anyone. Right? It's retarded. You have an immune system for a reason. You have to build your immune system, eat good foods, eat good vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, any good things that are known to be good for your immune system. You take that to protect yourself, and then you pray to God for protection, because God does protect his children. Okay? So you have to have faith. Okay, but the problem is the world is trying to teach you, the Democrats are trying to teach you, we're the saviors. God doesn't protect you. We protect you. We protect you from everything. We're your father and your mother. We're your sugar daddy. We give you money. When you lose your job, we provide you the money. Yeah, well, that money comes from people that are working. The government doesn't have any money. All they do is take someone's money and give it to you. But if there's no one working, eventually they run out of money. That's why socialism doesn't work, because they run out of money. And there's hyperinflation, because they have to print money out of thin air, which reduces the value of the money. It's just 2 + 2 = 4. Explained it like a million times. And that's what we have to deal with. And we have to vote for Republicans, because if you vote third party, you're not going to get any winners. You're not going to get any results. Okay, you're wasting your vote if you're voting third party. Don't do that, because you got to vote for the Republicans. We need all Republican tickets. I just voted yesterday, early voted, all Republican ticket. Trump, Dan Forest, Senate, Republican Senator, Republican House of Representatives, Republican everything. Because the only way we can get more things done is have Trump there and have the Senate and the House, okay, voting on things uniformly to get everything passed. Because if you have Trump and then you have the House of the Representatives and the Senate, controlled by Democrats, well, then it's hard to get anything passed at all. So it's like a stalemate, and then sometimes it'll be worse in that way. But if we have the Senate now, and we need to get the House of Representatives back. We need Trump to stay there so we can get things done. Third party isn't going to do anything because they're not going to win. And on top of that, I can't vote for Jo Jorgensen because the libertarian Jo Jorgensen, right? She's pro-abortion. She's not going to stop the massacre of children in this country. That's one of the biggest causes of death in this country, if not the number one cause of death, is killing babies. Born and unborn, and that's a crime that I cannot support. I cannot support that. That is a moral problem, a major moral issue that a libertarian is pro-abortion. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, this lady, Jo Jorgensen, thinks that it's the woman's right to kill children, right? It's not your right. It's not your right to kill people. That doesn't exist. That's a lie from the devil, okay? Children are people that have rights. They have rights. They don't magically have rights when they exit the vagina. They already have rights. They're alive, okay? They experience pain. They experience, and it doesn't even, it's as soon as there's a DNA of a new person, that's a new person right there that has rights, okay? It's life. Otherwise, if it wasn't life, then how is it dying, right? It's life, okay? They have rights, and it's more libertarian to be pro-life. Trump is pro-life. He's more libertarian than Jo Jorgensen because he's pro-life. He actually cares about the unborn. He actually cares about defunding Planned Parenthood that's been killing babies like crazy. Like insane satanic cult is what they're like, Why would you want anyone in office that promotes killing kids? So no, screw Jo Jorgensen. She doesn't know what it's like to be a real libertarian if she's pro-abortion. She doesn't get it, okay? So Trump is more libertarian than her. So why don't you take your third-party vote, give it to Trump? Because Trump's most likely going to win. He obviously has a chance of winning. Okay, he actually is most likely going to win, right? You got to give him the vote to help him, because he's actually doing things that respect my constitutional rights. Is he perfect? No, it's not perfect. No, but that to me was just such a big issue, the pro-abortion thing. I mean, Jo Jorgensen being pro-abortion, that's just sad and ridiculous, as a libertarian to actually believe that garbage. Anyways, so that's my message. No third-party votes, all Republican ticket, and let's hope for the best and pray for this country. And of course, don't forget to keep your eyes on Jesus Christ and God, because we do need that in order to be able to survive the wickedness and the evil in this world. It's not just about Trump being the savior of everything either, because some people might get into that idea that, Trump's the solution to everything. No. Trump is something that's helping us right now with what we need to do, right? He's not the savior, no. So you just want to be clear with that, because some people kind of forget that a little bit. And it's also a lot of it is you. You are the cause of change in the world. It's not just these politicians. You have a huge impact in the world, whether you realize it or not. What you say to people, what you share on the internet, the information you give to people, the help that you give to people through your occupation or your words or, the people your friends and family. You have a big impact in the world. We all have a big impact in the world, and we have to step into that role and responsibility and use it for the good things, right? And so this is how we need to get together, because it could get crazy after the election. Because if Trump wins, then, the Democrats are going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy, okay? Who knows what's going to happen, right? And if Biden wins, well, there could be some major problems that way too. I mean, they're gonna implement all kinds of things to take away our rights. I mean, that's just obvious. They say they want to take away our guns. I mean, they're just open with the whole anti-American treason that they're the theme of the Democrat Party. So here we go. So vote for Trump, and let's hope he wins. And let's pray and do the right things, and share the information, share the video. Thanks for watching. This is the Patriot Torch. Share the link and press the like button, subscribe, and I will be back for more. See you later.